Senator Gannon, Senator McCreary, Senator Roberts, Senator Schroer. You have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. We have 4 bills we're going to hear today, and I'd like to start with Senate Bill 719. Senator Fitzwater, please come forward, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Travis Fitzwater, State Senate District 10. And I'm bringing before you Senate Bill 719, really simple bill. If you're removed from office under a writ of quo warranto, you would sacrifice your benefits in retirement. Pretty simple as that. So it's basically if you're an elected official, you're removed from office for any varying reason, incompetence or not doing your job or whatever, then you shouldn't get the benefit of retirement. So that's the bill, pretty simple, and be glad to take any questions.
Thank you, Senator. Now, a quick question. Would this fit on other legislation that may be on the House calendar now that you may be aware of?
I haven't, I filed this kind of late, but I think I think that should be discussed. Really any elected official that has been removed under this type of behavior, then I think ought to be considered that you shouldn't get a retirement. So,
questions for the bill sponsor, Senator Black.
Thank you, Senator. Give me a common sense or layman or hickman. I think that's what sometimes I'm thought about. What kind of actions would it be removed from office? Anything, correct?
Yeah. Well,
if I get removed from my office as senator, then I forgo that.
Yeah, under a quo warranto. So right now, for instance, the Attorney General has a writ of quo warranto against the city circuit attorney in St. Louis. If that circuit attorney is removed, this would basically say that you would not be afforded the benefits of your elected office in retirement.
Okay, thank you.
In other words, as an example, if you were expelled from the Senate under our Senate rules, that would not be a item covered under your bill.
Listen, I think any elected official removed from office for any given reason, I could be convinced to expand this to everybody who is in an elected position not being able to have the benefit if removed for cause.
Well, I
But
think
in this specific example, this is like the Attorney General getting involved with an elected official in the state of Missouri that's not doing their job or for the varying reasons.
And I think under the quo warranto provisions, she's being tried for a crime, which in this case will be malfeasance or negligence, which would be a little bit different than expulsion.
A little bit different
from the Senate. Okay.
And we did expel a member of the House while I was a House member.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I was very involved in that, and that's a somewhat different conversation, but something that willing to consider that too.
Okay. Further questions for the bill sponsor? Hearing none. Is there anyone that would like to testify in favor of Senate Bill 719? Seeing none, is there anyone that would like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 719? For informational purposes only on Senate Bill 719. Seeing none, Senator, any closing comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator. This concludes the hearing on Senate Bill 719. We will now hear House Bill 129 from Representative Griffith. Please come forward, Representative. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Representative Dave Griffith. I represent the 60th District right here in Jefferson City. Today I bring before you House Bill 129. House Bill 129 is the Uniform Deployed Parents Custody and Visitation Act. And this bill came to me, I presented this bill last year. It didn't get a hearing last year, but it did get a hearing this year in my Veterans Committee, and it passed out of the House unanimously. But what this bill does is if a parent is deployed, and they are divorced, they need to notify the other parent of their deployment. They need to do that within 7 days after receiving notice of that deployment or within a reasonable period of time. The court may not consider the parent's past deployment or possible future deployment as far as detaining and entertaining the best interests of the child. and explains the procedure in which the parents can enter into a temporary agreement that grants custodial responsibilities over the child during that deployment. What ends up happening, and it's not, it does happen often, where two parents that are sharing custody of a child, when one parent is being deployed, the other parent will take that child and leave the state and go elsewhere and try to hide the child from that person that's being deployed. I got to tell you that for those of you that have served, the last thing you need to worry about while you're on deployment is what's happening back home with your family. This really is a safeguard for those and sets up some guardrails for the parents that are doing that. And also for single parents that are deployed, it applies to them as well. That if they get deployed and they turn custody over to their former in-laws, and those in-laws can take that child and move out of state and try to hide the child as well. This bill it has two things that it does in the interest. The first off is in the interest, what's in the best interest of the child. And the second is what's in the best interest of those that are being deployed for us. We need to respect those and what they're in the mission that they're on. And I think this bill goes a long way to try to address those. It was very well vetted in the House, and I think that what we can do here today is move that bill forward to where we can make this act permanent.
Fantastic. Are there any questions for the bill sponsor? Seeing none. Is there anyone that would like to testify in favor of House Bill 129? Seeing none. Is there anyone that would like to testify in opposition to House Bill 129? Seeing none. Is there anyone that would like to testify for informational purposes only on House Bill 129? Well, we've made it through two bills today and not a single witness,
Moving on real quick,
Representative. Well, do you have any closing comments?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
This will
it, sir.
conclude the hearing on House Bill 129. We will move to the next two bills, which I am presenting. And Senator Gannon, would you be willing to take over for me?
And Senator, when you're ready, you may begin.
Thank you, Senator. Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee, Senator Bill Eigel from the 23rd State Senatorial District. Happy to present, starting with Senate Bill 611. This act establishes a new medallion program, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Freedom Sentinel, and Operation Allies Refugee Program. Under the act, any veteran who served on active duty during certain dates, is a legal resident of the state, or was a legal resident at the time of the discharge from military service, or was a Missouri National Guard member, regardless of residency, is eligible for a Medal of Appreciation for this service. This is a very small bill, but I think does a good job recognizing the overseas service of our military members. With that, Madam Chairwoman, I'm happy to answer any questions.
So important. Any questions in the committee? Seeing none, we'll start with support. Is there anybody here to support the bill? Make sure you fill out a witness form and please give your name.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Ryan Richmond. I'm the Deputy Director for the Missouri Veterans Commission. And we just want it to be known that the Missouri Veterans Commission supports this bill. We feel like that these veterans that served during this period of time should be recognized like so many others that served in previous campaigns. So that's all I have.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you. Next in support, please state your name and fill out a witness form.
Hey, good morning, Madam Chairwoman and committee members. My name is Major Ryan Borgmeyer. I'm the branch chief for the Family and Warrior Support Division within the Missouri National Guard, and I'm here today on their behalf in support of Senate Bill 611. As Mr. Richmond said, this legislation would allow us to honor the men and women who served in our country's campaigns over in Afghanistan. The National Guard, in partnership with the Missouri Veterans Commission, currently recognizes veterans in previous campaigns dating back to World War II with similar medallions, medals, and certificates. We appreciate the committee's hard work in this area, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Yes.
My one question is, do we have a guesstimate, a fairly good guesstimate, how many Missourians have served in these theaters?
We do, sir, and I think it's estimated that around 73,000 Missouri veteran residents may benefit from this medallion.
73,000 out of Missouri.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the witness? Seeing none, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Next in support? Seeing none. In opposition? Seeing none. Informational purposes only? Seeing none. Closing comments, sir?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay. And Senator Eigel will now present Senate Bill 654. You may begin.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. State Senator Bill Eigel again from the 23rd State Senatorial District, presenting Senate Bill 654. This act provides that the Department of Public Safety shall establish a pilot program to make electroencephalogram combined transcranial magnetic stimulation therapy available for veterans, first responders, and law enforcement officers, including certain federal agents with substance abuse disorder, other mental disorders, or brain injuries. Now, the name of this particular procedure is a mouthful.
Yeah.
But I've had a meeting with some of the folks that are on the kind of the leading edge of this new procedure, and this is a therapy that uses introducing electronic pulses that are painless, that are easy to deliver to patients who are suffering post-traumatic stress disorder, other mental disorders, or potentially physical brain damage from brain injuries of some sort, to help the healing process. This has been applied in a couple other states, and then we've seen some very good results. So what this bill does is it just creates a small pilot program. It doesn't require money to be put into the pilot program, but it allows for a fund to be created so that if the legislature is able to allocate a small amount of resources, and we're talking in the range of $500,000 to $1 million to this program, and make it available for certain first responders, veterans, et cetera, that we can track to see the results of how effective this is to dealing with some of the symptoms of these cases, which could be depression, could be suicide rates. I think that's a good thing, and at a relatively small cost to the taxpayer, we may find that this leading edge solution can provide a lot of good. And with that, Madam Chairman, happy to answer questions.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Senator? Oh, okay. You're giving him a thumbs up. All right. First in support of the bill. Please state your name and fill out a witness form.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Mark Rhodes. I appear on behalf of JLC Services. It's an emerging technology solutions company. They have been on the leading edge of implementing these programs in various other states. It was led by Ohio, I think 3 years ago. It's been terrifically successful there. They've actually doubled and now I think this year tripled the state's investment in this new technology. I am no expert in TMS. We are grateful to Senator Eigel. We came into town late. I came in with 2 veterans who actually had received treatment. He was very receptive. We've also met on numerous occasions with Senator Black, and I appreciate you and your participation in moving forward with this. I think it's very imperative that we do this sooner rather than later. It is a life-saving treatment, and I think that that's been borne out in some of the other states that have implemented it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you. Next in support. Seeing none, opposition? Seeing none. Informational purposes only. I had a brain block there. Seeing none, closing comments?
Madam Chairwoman, I would just say that I know that since we're already kind of late in the session, I'm going to be looking for, now that we've had a public hearing on these, I'll be looking for opportunities on the Senate floor to add these bills in particular to legislation. We actually do have a couple veterans-related bills that are on the perfection calendar. I know we haven't had a committee vote, but I will be looking for an opportunity maybe to add these to those pieces of legislation.
I think that's a great idea because these are really good bills. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Oh, and we adjourn. See you next week. Yeah.